Hello everyone, welcome back to Amstein TV. In today's video, we are going to be looking at Discovery Nigeria American Ancestry through DNA. So guys, that is it. We have been talking about how Nigerians ancestry are made up of so many African Americans find their roots towards the Nigerian uh, ancestry through DNA, and we are going to be looking at that in this video. So what do we have here? We have Nigerian dominance as DNA study reviews genetic impact of slavery in the Americas. A new DNA study has given fresh insight into the genetic consequences of slavery on millions of Africans who were traded to the Americans between the 16th and the 19th centuries. Surprisingly, Nigerian ancestry in the US and Latin America was overrepresented in the latest study than previously, though, when compared with the recorded number of enslaved people from Africa. It had been estimated that over 12.5 million Africans were traded between 1515 and the mid 19th century, with some 2 million enslaved men, women, and children dying en route to the Americas. In the study published in the American Journal of Human Genetics, 23andMe and a consumer genetics firm estimated more than 50,000 people of African ancestry on both sides of the Atlantic. So that is how we are seeing it in this perspective, and we are going to receive a testimonial of an African American who have given his testimony after DNA test to be found as an Igbo Nigeria. So comparing genetics result with slave ships to see how they agree, some findings confirm history on where people were taken from in Africa and where they were enslaved in the Americas. It revealed, in accordance with the measured slave route, that most Americans of African descent have roots in territories now located in Angola and the Democratic Republic of Congo, that is the DRC. There was an overrepresentation of Nigerian ancestry in the US and Latin America, alongside an underrepresentation of Senegal and the Gambia, unlike records of enslaved people therefrom. For the numbers on Nigerians, the research attributed it to intercolonial trade occurring between 1619 and 1807, where the enslaved were reported from the British Caribbean to other areas. However, they attributed the underrepresentation of Senegal and the Gambia to the realities that saw many work in rice plantations where malaria and the dangerous conditions were rampant. Part of the discovery also made by the study was that a bias toward African female contributions to the gene pool among the enslaved across the Americas had an impact on the modern gene pool. This is they attributed to the molestation of African women and other extraordinary exploitation by slave owners, with up to 17 African women for every African man contributing to the gene pool in Latin America. Russia whitening encouraging immigration of European men with the intention to dilute African ancestry through reproduction was also cited, albeit with less bias in British colonized America. According to them, consign enslaved people to have children toward maintaining an enslaved workforce nearing the abolition of the transatlantic slave trade opposed the mixing of different races. So now we see how this discovery African American ancestries in the Nigerian community have tend to be, and we are going to look at one of the example of people who have testified how discovering Nigerian ancestry through DNA by the Nigerians Americans have come to be a reality. So let's move on. We see a no-nonsense personality in the name of Pastor T.D. Jakes. So we call it How I Trace My Ancestry to the Igbo Tribe by Pastor T.D. Jakes. We listen to his testimony as he sees it as it happens. Popular American preacher Bishop T.J. Jakes of the Potter's House has revealed how he discovered that his ancestors are from the Igbo tribe of Nigeria. Jakes, who is a renowned author, in an interview with BBC Igbo, said his Igbo ancestry was discovered over DNA tests. It all started when Henry Lewis Gates, who was at Harvard, decided to do DNA testing to see where my ancestry came from. It was me, it was Ofra Wilfred, it was Quincy Jones and others, he said. The clergyman further stated that the test revealed his ancestors were from Nigeria. Mine was traced back to West Africa, to Nigeria, and particularly Igbo. My ancestors were Igbos. It gives something that we, the African Americans, don't have, which is roots. It gives, it gave me an understanding of my roots. It was interesting to see how similar my personality is to how Igbo people are described. They are described as hardworking, industrious, and innovative. They have strong business acumen. I deeply relate to that. I explain and it explained to me its oath, and I was never born there. Yet I see so many traces. I have always had strong business acumen. I have been aggressive in business, although I have been none of for the faith aspect. I have several companies and I have owned my own resources. My children all started studying ancestry about Igbos and even more about Africa. I would like to reconnect with our brothers and sisters over there, he said. Jeff, who has often visited Lagos, said that he enjoys eating fufu and the jollof rice. When I'm in Nigeria, I eat fufu and jollof rice. I have those kinds of experience. I have had more than I can name them. I go to Accra in Ghana and Lagos quite often. What I know about the food is that it's almost always hot and spicy. I ate it before, but the food over there is so hot it makes your head sweet, and I like it, he said. The preacher continued, one of the strategies of the slave trade is not just that we were taken from our home, culture, people, and food. We lost our history. African American history is taught over here from boot landings, and we assume a name that does not define us. Jakes is a German name that only signifies who own my ancestors to reach beyond the boats in chains to touch the soil where I am from. To understand that my ancestors were something before they were a slave is extremely gratifying. It really confirms why I have such fascination about the continent of Africa. And that is it, guys, as we see it as discovery African and Nigerian ancestry for the Africans Americas. So Nigerians Americans ancestry have been discovered through DNA tests, as we have rightly heard from the famous prophet T.D. Jakes. He has confirmed it to be true as he is Igbo Nigeria. So guys, what do you think about this process? What do you think about this video? Share your own points of view in the comment section as we move on to the next video. Till next video, stay blessed, love you all.